Hi guys, I'm KL or Kitty Lantern on Tumblr, and today I'm going to show you how to make a clothing mesh for The Sims 3, particularly a clothing mesh for the young adult female. Just a few things before we get started. I'm using a Windows computer. I don't know anything about Macs. I've only ever used one once in my life. I don't own any Apple products. I prefer Android and Windows personally. Um, if you hear me sniffling, it's because my ears are popping. And if you hear any creaking in the background, that is my chair. It's old and rickety, but I don't want to sit on the floor because it's uncomfortable. I learned how to do this by watching Does videos, but when she deleted her blog, she also deleted her videos, and I know that they helped me a lot. Um, so I decided to make them again, but my own. So, let's get started. Your Marvelous Designer will look different than mine when you log in. My recording software is very finicky. I've had to do this 16 times now. um, so I apologize if I sound irritated. It's nothing, it's whatever. I'm very determined to get this done. Um, so when you log in, or rather when you load up, there will be a box here that will outline all the new features. Go ahead and click out of that. You don't need it. Over here will be a box of avatars. We have our own that we're going to be adding, so go ahead and click out of that. Um, there will be an avatar over here wearing a dress, and then the pattern for that dress over here. In the 3D pattern window, right click your or the avatar, and then select delete all avatars. Also, another thing, my desktop recorder does not record the menus, so I'm right clicking right now and I see a menu. You don't see it because my program doesn't pick it up. Um, when I'm editing it, I will put in pictures of what those menus look like. So once you've deleted your avatar, go ahead and go to File, New, and then a box will pop up asking you if you want to save. Click No. That avatar and dress loads up every single time you open Marvelous Designer, so you don't need to save it. So now you have a blank screen. Go to File, Add Avatar, and navigate to where you have your avatar saved, and then click which one you want to use. For this tutorial, like I said, we're going to be using the adult female. So now that we have our adult female avatar in the 3D window, let's go real quickly how to move around. Right clicking in the 3D window and moving your mouse around will rotate the screen. Holding down your scroll button and moving the mouse around will pan around, and clicking or left clicking and then dragging will move your pattern pieces around. It'll also move your avatar around, so be careful with that. You don't want to move your avatar. Okay, so today we're going to be making a skirt. I've done this, like I said, about 16 times, so I know what measurements that I need. But, you know, when you're making different things, you'll probably need different measurements. So we're going to be making a skirt today. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and click over in the pattern window, select the rectangle tool. You can click and drag with the rectangle tool, but I will tell you this, it pays to be precise in your measurements. And you can do that with the measurement tools. These aren't things that show up right when you log in. You have to go find them. Right click in any of the empty space in this toolbar, and a little menu will pop up, and click measurement toolbar, and then you can use that to get your measurements. So back to the pattern window, go ahead and take the rectangle tool, click I know that my avatar's waist measurement is 640.75 millimeters, and I want the total length of her skirt to be 400 millimeters, but I want the waistband to be 20 millimeters thick. So I'm going to subtract 20 from the skirt measurement. So it's going to be 380 millimeters. So this is the body of our skirt, and to move the pattern pieces around, you use the Edit Pattern tool, which is right here. So there's the body of our skirt. Now we need to make the waistband. Take the rectangle tool again, click, and a box will pop up where you put in the measurements. Once again, I'll put a picture of what this menu looks like in post editing, or yeah, post production, whatever, when I'm editing it. So the width is 640.75 and the height is 20. Click OK, and then voila, we have our waistband and we have our skirt. Now you can arrange this. You can arrange it on your avatar just like this, but I find it looks a little bit better when you split them in half. So to do that, with the Edit Pattern tool selected, click on either the top or the bottom of your shape, and then right click it. You'll know it's selected when the line turns yellow. Right click, a little menu will pop up. Click Split, and then another box will pop up. There will be a split into two lines, split by length, and then uniform split. Select uniform split, and number of lines, there's a little box under that. It'll automatically be set at 2. So click OK. So now you see we have our little point in the middle of that line. And we want to make this 2 separate shapes. So to do that, take the internal polygon tool, click once on the middle point, drag it up a little bit, press shift to keep it straight. It'll snap it to these lines. And then when you get to the top of your shape, click once and then click again to end your line. Now select the Edit Pattern tool while that line is selected. Like I said, yellow means it's selected. Right click and a menu will pop up. Click Cut. And then now we have our 2 separate shapes. So we're going to do that again for the waistband. So make sure that either the top or the bottom, we'll do it on the top this time for demonstration purposes. So it's selected, and I know it's selected because it's yellow. Right click, split, a box will pop up. Uniform split, number of lines 2. Okay. Now we're going to take the internal polygon tool, click once at the middle point, drag a little bit, press shift to keep it straight, and then when we get to the bottom line, click once, click twice. There we go. Now take the Edit Pattern tool, while the line is selected, right click it, cut. And there we go, we have our waistband. Ugh, excuse me. Okay, so now we want to arrange our skirt on the mannequin or mannequin avatar, whichever. Now the ones that I'm going to link you to in the description, they come with arrangement points. But if you've, I don't know, maybe you're making stuff for a different program and that avatar doesn't have arrangement points, you can move your pattern around without arrangement points. But one thing I do want to point out with that is, if you see right now, we're looking at our pattern pieces straight on and they're white. But if you turn them around, you'll see that they're gray. That's not a trick of the lighting. They're shaded differently. Now, it wouldn't really make much difference if you're just doing it in Marvelous Designer. It'll just look different because it's shaded different. But when you get into Blender to fix it, if any of the back pieces are showing, it'll show up as black, and you don't want that. So make sure that when you're arranging your pieces without the arrangement points, that when you want uh, that all your front pieces are facing. And you see how I moved that front piece to the back and it's gray right here? What you do is you just click it with your left mouse key and then right click it and a menu will pop up. I need to make a note that I need to get this menu. Um, and then you'll just select flip horizontally and then there you go. But when you use the arrangement points, you don't need to worry about that because it automatically flips it for you. So now that I've covered that, I'm going to press Control Z, which is undo. So now to get to the arrangement points, you turn them on. They're located over here. It's the second one down and then the second one over. Show arrangement points. And then you have all these little dots. What you do is you click on your pattern piece and then click on the dot that you want your pattern piece to be arranged around. I'm actually going to do it like that. And once you have them on the arrangement points, you can move them around. Alright, so now that I have my pieces arranged, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the arrangement points. And you turn them off the same way you turn them on. Over here, second one down, second one over. Okay, so I'm going to arrange this a little bit more. There we go, that's fine. Now we have to sew our pattern pieces together. But how do I know which side goes to where? So I want to sew these two sides together. So how I'm going to figure out where to put my sewing lines, I'm going to click and then I'm going to click. So these two sides go together, and I can tell that because when I click on them in the 3D window, where I click shows up in the 2D window. So I know that these two sides go together, so I'm going to take my segment sewing tool. I'm going to make sure my notches are lined up, which are these little lines here, and then I'm going to click. You want to make sure that those notches are lined up. You don't want them to be twisted. You can tell if they're twisted when they look like this in the 3D pattern window. So I've got that together. Now I want to sew the waistband. Alright, so this goes here. This goes here. Okay, so now our seams are set. Go ahead and press simulate. Now, as you can see, there's clipping. Usually that means that you need to make your pattern pieces a little bit bigger. And I know from doing this a couple of times that I do need to make mine bigger. But sometimes they're just clipping because it's just, sometimes it just clips. So to fix the clipping, what you do is while it's simulating, you can tell if it's simulating when this arrow is orange. Just click on the area that has clipping and pull. And how picky you are with how much clipping there is in your dress, or your skirt or your garment or whatever you're making, that's all up to you. I'm gonna fix this because it's the front, but I don't really care about clipping in the back because I don't take my screenshots from the back, I take them from the front. So from doing this a few times, I know that I need to figure out which is the back piece. Oh, a quick note, when you're making skirts or anything that goes on the bottom half of the body, the back side needs to be a little bit wider. Mostly for females, it needs to be wider, but for males and females, it needs to be longer. because it needs to go over the butt. And for the top, if you're making a top, the front needs to be, I don't think it needs to be wider, but it does need to be longer because it has to go over the breasts and the chest or pectoral muscles. So back to the fixing of the skirt. So I have the back piece selected. I know from doing this a few times that I need to make the back longer. I'm going to make sure that the bottom line is highlighted and press the down arrow key on my keyboard twice. And then I'm going to select the one of the sides, either one, and since I'm on the left side, I'm going to use the left arrow key. Do that twice. Then the same with the other side, do that twice. And I'm going to simulate it. And there's still some clipping, so I'll fix the front. So I know that this piece is the front, so I'm going to click the bottom of the front, bring it down once with my down arrow key, click the left panel or the left line on the front, make it bigger one with my left, and then make it bigger right with my right key. And then simulate. There's still a little bit of clipping. So let's try making the front bigger again. So bring it down, bring it over, bring it over. You don't have to do yours equally. I do because I have a thing with symmetry. I like things to be symmetric. I think that's how you say that word. Yeah. Okay, so I'm satisfied with this. There's a little bit of clipping there, but you're not really going to be able to tell, and we can fix it when we get into Blender. So, oh, there's some there too. Actually, I will try to fix it. No, I'm just going to leave it because that seems to make it worse. Okay, so now we have our skirt. You're going to want to export it as an object file, and the way that you do that is you go File, Export Object. I'm not going to do it at this precise moment in time because it'll stop recording, and I have a few more things that I want to say. And then a menu will pop up, but I'll get to that in a second. You might also want to save your project or your skirt as a project so you can use it as a base for other things. Like say you want to make a maxi skirt, you can work off of the skirt that you've already made. So to do that, you go to File, Save As, Project, and then you'd you'd name your project, and then you want to go to File, Save Project before you exit out, because for some reason it doesn't save when you just do Save as Project. Okay, so now that you've saved your project, you want to go to File, Export Object, and a box will come up. I'll put, as with all other menus, what that menu will look like. It's really important that your settings look exactly like the ones that I have on the screen or will have on the screen right now. It should be select all pattern pieces are selected. You do not want your avatar selected. Single object, unweld, unified UV coordinates, and it should be in meters in the measurement portion. And then there's a section below that. I don't mess with those settings. And then when you have your settings like they look on the screen, go ahead and click OK, and then you have your object file and you're ready to bring it into Blender. So I will see you for that part.